what documents you got from Ms. O'Donnell's office. However, I did provide emails.
Do you have any documents here today?
I didn't bring anything, nor was I asked to.
Okay,
You should
so
have
you
the
knew,
emails.
wait, you knew you were coming to court to testify before the jury in a homicide.
Hello and welcome.
Go ahead and ask your question.
That the incentive for Miss Benefield to kill her husband was the release of this report on the 30th. You don't have anything to support that other than what you've told us?
Hi, Colleen. How are you?
That's all.
Don't forget, sir, you have one more paper. Mr. Taylor, don't forget your paper.
I'd like to approach also after the witness is excused.
All right. Redirect.
Hi, Alyssa. All right, we're watching here. This is the cross-examination of the medical somebody or other.
No questions, thank you.
Can this witness be released?
Yes.
Absolutely not. She's under our subpoena.
All right. Ma'am, you remain under subpoena. As I said before, same rules on
She's not free to go.
sequestration. So you cannot discuss the questions asked of you or your answers with anyone, including the attorneys. You can't talk with any other witnesses about what happened in court or what their testimony was or the questions asked of them. You can't hear anything that's going on.
I don't think I was subpoenaed by Mr. Taylor's office.
Okay, well,
She's released from Mars.
all right. Mr. Jury, can you step out, please? I'll answer this legal question. Remember,
Still remains subject
don't begin your
to recall.
deliberations or talk with anybody outside the jury. Don't do any research on people, places, things, or legal topics we've heard anything about. You all can have a seat. Subpoenas for depositions and trials in the old days had to be procured from the clerk, which is obviously a branch of the court. That was changed many, many years ago to allow attorneys to save time and effort and money for everyone involved, where attorneys of record were granted the authority under the Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure to issue subpoenas for deposition and trial. I would imagine if we pull them up, and I'd be happy to take a look at it.
Katie,
I
I'm
would
not going to be able to
imagine
unsee that now.
the
He does look like Jim
subpoena
Gaffigan.
that was issued is for the court.
I would have to look at this.
My position is when a witness is subpoenaed to court, and the reason I ask each and every time, can this witness be released? Because I believe witnesses are subpoenaed by the attorneys on behalf of the court. So whether you were subpoenaed by the state or the defense is of no moment to me. I asked, could you be released from a subpoena? The state said yes. The defense says no. That's all I need. So, Ms. Murphy, you are not released from your subpoena.
You got to come back.
Obligations regarding the rule of sequestration and Florida statutes applies to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It sounds like Florida is like Nevada, where attorneys, we can issue subpoenas our own. So Miss Murphy has to come back. Maybe she doesn't want to come back because she doesn't have another outfit. I don't know.
All right, the witness has been excused. Mr. Taylor, you wanted to approach, but the jury's out, so I figured might as well just take care of it now.
Sure. So
Yes, Colleen,
now
she's
I would ask that the court
a ballerina
issue
who's
a
accused of
subpoena to
killing her
the
husband.
clerk. The court may recall that we had an in in-camera hearing where the court quashed the defense subpoena to Judge Moreland's JA, and told me that there were better ways that I could prove my case, and that the court shudders to think what would happen if every JA were subpoenaed. What the court's just witnessed is Ms. Murphy lied flat out about the reason why Ms. Benefield feared release of that report, and my impeachment of Ms. Murphy indisputably is going to come from Judge Moreland's JA, who told Ms. Murphy in the emails that I handed her and showed her, the only thing that is set for hearing on September 30th, 2020 is the domestic violence injunction. Nothing else.
Oh, good,
will be
Lorelei.
heard.
I'm
In
not
fact,
the only
I'm going to read for the
sexist
record.
jerk here then.
I'm going to read the one sentence email that was sent.
The reason I'm going to stop you at this point is you're referencing arguments that were made in camera. The state was not present at your request in order to preserve trial strategy of the defense.
Yes.
Present at that hearing, when we stepped back into the jury
Wait.
room, was
Who's
myself, a court reporter, Mary Ann Floyd, the general counsel for the 12th Judicial Circuit, Mr. Taylor, and Ms. Benefield. The state was not present. They didn't have an opportunity to be heard or know these issues. Now the issues are being brought to light. In order for them to have a fair opportunity
Okay, I gotta see
to
her.
understand the issues and be prepared to argue against whatever motions the defense may make, I certainly think due process requires they're entitled to notice an opportunity.
Is she in the pew or is she in the
Same
bench?
for the defense. If
Which
there
one?
was some issue for whatever reason that I had considered in camera or ex parte for the state, and whatever reason the need for the
I'm in
privilege or confidentiality no longer existed, prior to having a hearing on that issue and requiring the defense to respond to it, I certainly think at a minimum, notice of the issue and an opportunity to be heard.
Okay, I think I
So
see
right
it.
now, they don't even have a copy of the order that I signed that you just quoted from, Mr. Taylor, and they have no idea what you're talking about because they've not seen that order because I ordered it to be sealed.
Yes, if the court will allow me, I'll elaborate. And I would like to read the email in particular.
The issue that you seek to have heard right now, I am happy to hear.
Hi, Furface.
However, it is not a pressing matter. You seek to have a witness subpoenaed in order to present, I would assume, during your case in chief.
Yes, sir.
We could certainly address that issue at the end of the day after the state has had a chance to review that order. And I don't recall if the motion. No, the motion itself was public, but then we had the in-camera hearing and my order was, I sealed it.
Yes, sir.
So.
We had the email chain also as an exhibit.
Yes, so the email chain is an exhibit. There were two exhibits actually. I can't remember what the other one was. And then we had my order. So I'm going to need to unseal those things so you have, you can get copies of them.
I remember what the other one was. It was her prior testimony from the stand ground hearing.
It was excerpts from the
Same.
stand your ground hearing, excerpts of Miss Murphy's testimony.
Right.
That was exhibit 2.
Correct,
Or
saying what she said today.
Okay.
So the only thing, if I may, that I want to supplement today's record with is I showed Ms. Murphy an email dated September 18th of 2020 at 10:18 a.m. included between her and the judicial assistant for Judge Moreland. And it says as follows: "Good morning, Ms. Murphy and Ms. Brown. Per the judge, she will not sign an ex parte order for release of psychological evaluation and report The judge will allow an expedited hearing on this motion. I have available Wednesday, September 23rd at 9 a.m. for 30 minutes. However, besides both attorneys being present, the judge
Thanks,
has
Alyssa.
stated that Dr. Broder and Manatee Children's Services must be present at the hearing as well. Further, Ms. Murphy.
Oh, is that
The
her?
judge stated that absent showing where the court granted permission for the other motions stated in your September 17th letter to her.
Hey,
The
Griggsy,
only
welcome.
matter being heard on September 30th is the injunction hearing.
And that is part of the email string that's one of the exhibits.
Yes.
All right. So like I said, I don't think it's appropriate to hear this right now. I think the state has every opportunity and should be allowed to review my order and the two exhibits.
We missed her crying. Here, I'll reenact it.
I'm sorry?
Here we go. Here we go.
Briefly on
Of
something.
course.
Imagine I'm back there in the back.
Now, or you want me to wait?
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if, I'm because I'm unsure
Is that
what Your
pretty
Honor is
good?
referring to. because
Fairly
we haven't
accurate?
seen it, the seal.
Colleen,
I don't know that
since I missed
any
the girl
of
crying.
those things that Mr. Taylor just showed to Ms. Murphy were ever provided to the state in
Well,
discovery.
Griggsy, I'm flattered.
Which is one issue. We received a defendant's exhibit list that was unnumbered and in no particular order. It has 391 items on it. I spent more time than I should have trying to organize it in some fashion.
Oh,
And
you
I
just
do not
missed
believe that in
Miss Murphy in
that
a
if-
nice
that
pink
any
dress.
of those emails were ever provided. to
She's gotta
the
come
state
back.
Discovery.
Wrong.
If they were, I'm still speaking, sir. If they were,
Ooh.
I would just ask if somebody could give me the name, because I numbered them.
Now it's
but
getting real
It has
now.
391 items on it, and it's, some of them have multiple things inside of them, and they're not named anything that you can understand. So I'm just asking that if in fact they were provided, if we could, the items that were shown to Ms. Murphy, in addition to what Your Honor has said, unseal, please.
All right. I'll let you two work on that, and I will look forward to having a Richardson hearing at the same time that we have the hearing on the defense request for me to reconsider my order quashing the mechanic trial subpoena.
Yes, apparently the previous witness said something contrary to what she had testified to previously. There was an ex parte communication with the judge and the defense, so as to, which was granted, to not give away the defense's trial strategy, and then it was issued an order under seal that now he's quoting from and referencing from, that the prosecution has no idea. So now he's saying he's going to unseal that and let them see what he had previously ordered. And I guess the defense doesn't care anymore. They've gotten their trial strategy. You don't want to protect it, or I don't really know why they're raising it now, but we'll see. Hi, June. Daniela, welcome. Thank you, Michelle. Oh no, I just had like dead air. Oh boy. So, yes, she needs a box fort. Yeah, Grixie, she killed her husband, so I think she's single. Well, she's alleged to have killed her husband. We'll see what the jury says. But I hear she's ready to date, so Griggsy, you might want to get to Florida. she's a ballerina too, so I mean, yes, I am saying you have a chance. I'm telling you, there's a chance. Oh, dear. Oh, Katie. I saw what you did there. But yes, Griggsy can fix her. He can fix her. No, but we'd love to hear it. We got downtime, man. Let's hear it. I noticed you didn't put accidental in any kind of quotation marks or anything, Griggsy. And, you know. Yeah, I don't have any stories, Alyssa.
I just prepared and sent to the clerk an order unsealing the prior order quashing Vicky Mechanic's trial subpoena, unsealing the 2 exhibits that were admitted by the defendant during the in-camera hearing, and unsealing the notes and transcripts
You opened
of
the vault,
court reporter
Griggsy.
that was present for the in-camera hearing. I'll sign that right now. Should happen pretty quickly, and State, you'll be able to get copies of that, and we'll see if we can have this argument by the end of today or first thing tomorrow before we get started.
No, Griggsy wants to date alcoholic drug dealers. Hey, who are we? Who are we to say anything?
Or a tennis motion to reconsider order quashing, and the state's Richardson hearing. Would you, or I can state the other ones. Yeah, you find it.
18 and breathing. So all you ladies out there that are over 18 and breathing, Griggsy, do they have a chance? Are you telling them they have a chance?
There's one for the state, one for the defense.
Okay, now we're winnowing down here. We got some more standards and criteria. Crazier artsy types. Well, I know a ballerina widow in Florida. Just saying. Although no one seems to like her green blazer that she's wearing. But crazy and artsy and over 18 and breathing. So I think she checks all the boxes.
All right, state, call your next witness. All right, who is your next witness?
Oh, I Detective Chris Gillum.
All right, go ahead and bring the jury in.
Mindy, 5 drinks. Is that too many or too few? Where's the red flag coming in here? People want to know.
All right, y'all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. As you're finding your chairs, anybody talk about the case back in the jury room, talk about the case with anybody outside the jury, or do any research on anything to talk about? Everybody says more.
Hi, Kel Marie.
State, call your next witness.
Basics
Detective
are
Chris Gillum.
most people give a thumbs down on her green blazer. That's what I've gathered so far.
You saw this affirmative testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and I can give the truth.
I do.
And Kel, we learned about Griggsy's dating life, dating standards. Oh, are you talking about the trial that's going on here? Oh,
My name is Judge White. I'm presiding over this
Sorry.
case. Just make yourself comfortable in that chair. Get about 12 to 15 inches from the microphone. It does adjust
There you
up,
go,
down,
Cal.
left, right as you need. And just speak in a loud, clear voice, and it should pick up everything.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your name.
Chris Gillum, Gillum.
Where do you work?
Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you worked there?
22 years.
And
Gillum.
did you work somewhere else before for several years? How many years?
Yes, City of Palmetto Police Department for 12 years.
Okay.
Gillum. I wonder if
And what
people
position
tease
do you
him and call him
currently hold at
Gollum
Manatee?
just to be
I am
obnoxious.
currently a domestic violence
I would.
investigator.
And
I
how
would.
long have you been in that unit?
12 years.
How, I said in that unit, but if you could just describe, does Manatee County Sheriff's Office have a unit for domestic violence?
Yes, we do. We have 4 detectives.
Okay. And where and how is that unit housed?
We are housed at our building is the 3500 block of 9th Street West is the actual address. And within our building, it's my unit and the Crimes Against Children detectives as well.
Okay.
What a horrible job that
Were
would
you in
be.
that same position back in 2017 to 2020?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Back then, did your department house child protection services?
Yes, at that time we did.
Okay. And explain that. Were they with you in the same area or how did that work?
No, they were on the other side of the building. We had our own area and they were on the completely opposite side of the building.
And were they actually employees of the sheriff's office?
Yes,
Did you do a lot of stuff with them together? A lot of investigations together?
the domestic violence unit, we did not, every so often, that was mostly the Crimes Against Children detectives.
Good morning,
that worked
Jenny.
with them.
Welcome.
And as a domestic violence detective, have you investigated violations of injunctions and that type of thing?
I certainly have.
Okay. Now, sometimes when someone is asking for an injunction, or when an injunction is violated, it can be charged criminally, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Or they can take other avenues
That's
to
correct.
address the violation. But you're not involved in that other avenue if that's it's a different court, correct?
Yes, I'm not involved in that.
All right. Did you become familiar at some point with someone named Ashley Benefield?
I did
And when was that?
December of 2017.
Generally, what were the circumstances without it getting into a lot of detail?
She reported that her husband violated an injunction that was in place out of South Carolina.
Okay. And that came to you.
Correct.
And we've heard several mentionings of poisoning. Did this have to do with the same issue?
It was the same case, yes, but I had nothing to do with that investigation.
Okay. So the poisoning itself, you didn't have any contact with. It was just the violation of injunction.
Correct.
Did you speak to Ashley?
I did.
How many times would you say you spoke to Ashley?
Thank you, Jenny.
I think a fair number would be 30 to 40.
Okay. And generally speaking, was that because you were contacting her or she was contacting you?
No, she started contacting me on a regular basis beginning around February of 2018.
Okay. And what was she contacting you about?
She was wanting to know the status of the case and when Doug would be getting arrested for the violation of the injunction.
Okay. And when you do a violation of injunction, when you're investigating a violation of injunction, you can do several things, correct? You can, well, explain what you can do with it.
We can make a physical arrest in the case. There could be no charges filed in a case, or we can send the case to the state attorney's office.
Okay. So if you send the case to the state attorney's office, what does that mean?
We're just letting them make the ultimate decision if they think there's enough for charges to be filed in this case.
Okay. So it sounds like there's no charges and then arrest and
Sustained.
Wait, what was the objection?
so you said Miss Benefield was
I didn't
calling you
hear that.
asking about the arrest of Mr. Benefield.
Yes,
Okay. And what did you tell her?
that the case was still suspended at that point, and when I had an answer for her, I would let her know.
Okay. And so that was the beginning of your conversations,
Yes,
right? So, did she continue to call
yes, repeatedly, twice a week at least.
and speak to you personally?
Yes,
And what was her comments? What were her concerns?
it was the same thing. When was Doug going to be arrested for violating the injunction?
Had you ever told her that he was going to be arrested?
I did not.
At some point, did you decide to forward the charges?
I did.
And is that to the state attorney's office like we talked about?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Did you inform her of that?
I sure did.
Okay. And what was her reaction to that?
She was upset that he was not being arrested.
Okay.
Hmm.
Were you able to explain to her that the process and how this was going to go?
Sustained.
Yes, she
Were you
is
able to
leading.
explain the process to her.
Yes, I was.
Okay. And how did she take that?
She was not happy that I was not placing Doug under arrest.
Okay. At some point, did you speak to Ashley Benefield again? And she told you about a court hearing?
Yes,
Approximately when was that conversation? you
around
had?
the first week of May 2018.
May 2018. And what did she say?
She just got right into the phone call and requested that I arrest Doug for a hearing that was coming up in Manatee County.
Okay, you just said arrest for a hearing.
Yes.
But arrest at a hearing?
Yeah, said that there was a hearing, upcoming hearing in Manatee County.
And was that hearing involving your case or something else?
It was something else. It was not my case.
Okay. Did you know that there was a hearing or there was even a court issue going on?
I did not.
So she told you there was a court hearing, and did she tell you when it was?
No, that just shows there was an upcoming hearing, and she asked for me to arrest Doug when he came inside the courtroom in front of the presiding judge.
Okay. And what was your reaction to that?
That absolutely would not occur.
Okay. And how did she take that?
She was upset. And at that point, I would call it a dramatic cry, hysterical cry started happening. And I'm still informing her, we're not going to do that. We're just not going to arrest him in the courtroom. And she made a comment, something to the effect of, if the judge sees you arrest him, this will help me keep my baby. So I thought that was a pretty bold statement. And I'm like, I'm still trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. She just gave birth. Maybe she's confused. And I'm trying to explain to her gently, that's just not going to happen, especially not going to happen for a judge to see to help you in a civil matter.
And did you in fact explain all that to her?
Yes, I did.
And how did she react?
We went back and forth 5 minutes or so. Just kept requesting to arrest him. I said, that's not going to happen. And her tone turned from the crying to very aggressive. And she says, you will effing arrest him in front of the judge and I will make sure you do it.
She didn't say please.
What did you say to that?
I started pushing back a little bit and I said, it's not going to happen. Whatever you say or do, you cannot make me arrest somebody in front of a judge, and it's just not going to happen.
And what did she do?
I guess she started crying again and came out with a comment, something to the effect of, I can't believe you're willing to allow Doug to kill me and the baby.
Okay.
And that hadn't come up in this phone call. That the phone call dealt with me arresting Doug in front of a judge. And then it turned to arresting, or not arresting him, and allowing me to let him kill her and the baby.
Okay. So that seemed kind of different to you
Yes.
than what you had previously been told.
Yes.
Okay. How long did this conversation go on?
20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
For up to that time, it's probably 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. And during this time, excuse me, did the defendant ever seem to understand the process of what you were saying?
No.
I gotta say, they're
And
more
at some
generous
point,
here
she
in
changed from crying again.
Las Vegas
What did she do?
about arresting
Just
guys for
abruptly
violating
changed,
protective
and
orders.
She let out like a screech or a
Does
heightened
not take
scream.
much.
And she says, I'll do whatever I have to do to kill my baby or keep my baby, you a-hole.
Okay. So it's a high-pitched scream, or did you say scream or screech?
Like a screech at first, but it was I'll call it a screech.
A screech.
Yeah.
And
Maybe he'll do a
tell me,
dramatic
what
reenactment.
volume is this?
Who do it?
I could just say it's a very loud, maybe top of lung type scream.
Okay. Could you demonstrate to us?
It's impossible.
Yes.
There's no-
No, do it.
Why would it be
Scream.
impossible?
I couldn't get my voice that high. There's no
Okay.
way.
Try it.
So it was loud and it was high,
Yes.
and she
Come on.
said,
This guy doesn't appreciate. I need
What
good
she said?
content here.
I will do anything I have to do to keep my baby, you a-hole.
"You a-hole." And did she say a-hole?
No, she said the full word.
Okay. And after she said that, what'd she do?
At that point, I had checked out of the phone call and I was pretty much ready to hang up the phone on her. And she accused me of conspiring with Doug to get her baby taken away.
I
And
already did a dramatic reenactment,
had you
Katie.
even spoken to
Someone
Doug
else's
about
turn.
custody of the child?
No.
Were there other detectives around you at the time of this phone call?
Yes, there were two other detectives.
And do you recall their names?
Oh, yes. Detective Patricia Hetrick and Detective Brian Moreland.
And did they appear to recognize that you were on a difficult call?
Oh, they did. And at one point, Brian even asked me if I needed some help.
Sustained.
And at some point, how did the phone call end?
Ms. Benefield terminated the phone call.
And you seem to have a good memory of this call.
Yes.
And why do you have a good memory of this call?
Don't they
Because
all
in
end
my
with someone
12 years of doing this, I've
hanging up?
never had anybody ask me to arrest someone in front of a judge inside of a courtroom. Now, I have had people call me before and say somebody may be appearing in court that I'm looking for so I can arrest them, but I've never had somebody say, wait until he's inside the courtroom in front of the judge.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ross?
Just a moment, Your Honor.
So is the state sounds like they're trying to paint her as a hysterical, out to get him at any cost kind of defendant. Maybe, I don't know. Not quite sure where they were going with that or what they want from his testimony.
Afternoon, Detective Gillum.
Good afternoon, sir.
She might seem
I wanna
that way,
ask you a
Michelle,
few
but
questions about
Riggsy is going to save her.
Sure,
Do they teach
So
that
don't
to
worry.
you in police academy?
sure. Back in 1989, they did, yes.
Okay, it's obviously an
1989.
important part of police work.
Sure.
How many cases would you say could you average that you handle in a month?
20?
Okay. And over the course of a year, we're talking about
300 closed?
So are you familiar with the saying that they give you in police academy, if it's not in the report, it didn't happen?
I've heard that before, yes.
All right. And that's because the report is obviously more reliable than your memory.
I could understand that, yes.
All right. At 20 cases a month, 2.5 years later, you're into like 600 cases. If you got your report, you can refresh your recollection rather than have to recall off the top of your head.
Sure.
Which is why you want to put critical details in your report, because that's what you want to remember.
Correct.
Not necessarily that somebody had on mismatching socks, but that they had something that's significant to the investigation.
Sure.
All right. So your initial involvement, you told us in the case,
You may be onto
is,
something.
speaking with Ashley Benefield on or about May 31st of 2018 regarding the domestic violence injunction in South Carolina.
That wasn't the first time I spoke with her, no. There were several incidents I spoke several times I did.
Did you speak with her on or about the 31st
I
of
was
May?
prior to that,
Okay, about the South Carolina injunction.
yes.
All right. And just to be clear, we're talking about the same thing. There was a court that had issued an injunction in South Carolina, stay away from one another.
Yes, in South Carolina, that is correct, sir.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you bring any of the reports that you wrote with you here today?
I did.
Do you recall how many you wrote?
Supplemental reports, 3 or 4.
Yes. All right. So initially, if I can ask you about the sequence of these events, Miss Benefield had gone down to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office to complain about a package that she received because it came while the South Carolina injunction was in effect.
Yes.
All right. And it would have been Deputy Wesley Weber, to your knowledge, had requested a capias based upon Ms. Benefield's receipt of that package.
Correct.
Just so the ladies and gentlemen of the jury understand, a capias is an
Objection,
arrest
Judge.
warrant.
Testifying, and
Sustained.
it's all hearsay.
What is a capias?
A capias is information where a deputy believes that there's probable cause for someone's arrest.
All right. That was issued by Deputy Wesley Weber.
Correct.
And that would have been on December 14th of 2017.
That sounds correct.
Now, a month later, or actually several months later, on May 31st of 2018,
Objection,
Wait, what's the objection?
I apologize, I'll let him finish the question.
did you write the first of your supplemental reports?
Yes,
And in that report, you stated that Ms. Benefield,
Objection. Hearsay.
Sustained.
in the report, did you indicate,
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
did you write anything in your report in describing,
Objection, hearsay.
Can you approach, please?
hold on, let me have one more shot at it. Did you document in your report anything different than you told us here today about how you characterized Miss Benefield's demeanor?
I didn't go into any details in that supplement at all, in that one.
May I show him the report?
Judge, can we?
Yes.
Wait, is he going to give him the report to refresh his recollection? Wait, well, she's listening to. She gets to listen to music, I guess, while they go and talk. So, last time we had a break, we heard about Griggsy's dating disaster. Who's next? Come on, step forward. Let's hear it. Okay, you think she's listening to Christmas music? Well, she's a ballerina. She might be listening to, I don't know, the Nutcracker Suite. That play that at Christmas. Just saying. Come on, no one? No one's got any. It's just Griggsy. Griggsy had to leave. She's listening to the discussion. I'd like to think she's listening to something else. Yes, that is downright logical. Maybe she's a Swiftie. Maybe she's listening to Taylor Swift in between. Jenny, you've never dated. Oh, come on. Okay, now that's just crazy talk.
During that time, Detective Gilliam, back in May of 2018, you overrode Deputy Wesley Weber's
You spring this on us right when they come back.
correct?
I did.
Killing me,
Okay.
Jenny.
And you put the case on an inactive status.
Yes,
Well, you should start a lifestyle
And
brand
I think
there.
you decided, as you told us, it would be submitted to the state attorney's office.
that is correct.
Now, on June 5th of 2018, you interviewed Douglas Benefield, did you not?
Correct.
And he admitted to you.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Oh, let's hear the form of the question.
What was his position with respect when you asked him,
Objection, hearsay.
Finish the question.
did you send the package to Miss Benefield?
Sustained.
Did you make a determination from your conversation with Mr. Benefield whether or not package had been sent to Miss Benefield?
Objection relevant.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Sure. Did you make a determination as a result of your investigation whether a
And?
package had been sent to Miss Benefield?
Yes.
Did you make a determination as to who sent it?
Yes.
Who?
Douglas Benefield.
Did you make a determination of what the contents of the package were?
It was a T-set.
Oh dear.
And was hazmat called?
Nutcracker was the safe word. It's a better safe word than more. That was my safe word. It just didn't work
As
out.
part-
Did you say hazmat?
Yes, sir. Part
Sustained.
as part of your investigation, did you make any determination whether or not there was a response by
Objection, hearsay.
any other agency to this package that was sent to Miss Benefield?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Did you tell Mr. Benefield that you would be able to unfound the case if he sent you the receipt?
Objection, hearsay.
I'm asking him if he told Mr. Benefield.
Can you please approach?
Did you tell Mr. Ben?
Can you please approach? Can you please approach
Oh,
the bench?
sorry.
Approach. Yes. All right, man. This guy needs to learn how to phrase a question. Wait, let's hear the conclusion here, Jenny. 2 kids later, it wasn't supposed to work. 10 years later. Wow, so it had a happy ending. Good job, Jenny. As do all of us. All right, we got time here. We're on a break. Oh my goodness, Jenny. That is like beautiful showmanship. You just like leave us right when you have us, right when we want more information. So Jenny, we're going to have you back and you're going to have to tell us the rest of this story. Yes, we all have many questions. What is this? Like Griggsy drops a bomb. Now Jenny's dropping a bomb and then they just leave. They got to do work. I had to work today. I had to go to court. Yes, Katie, who's next? Who's next? Yeah, Griggsy started this with his 5-drink drug dealer date. But yeah, every once in a while. Smarty pants. You know, yes, I do work. What bomb did Griggsy drop? Well, he told us that he went on a date. We were talking about his high standards for dating and how the defendant meets those criteria. Then he said that he dated a
I think the last question I asked you was, did you tell
a drug dealer.
Douglas Benefield you could unfound the case if he sent you the receipt for the sending of this package of tea?
No.
So did you write a supplemental report as a result of this interview with
Next
Mr.
break, June. We
Benefield?
want to hear details.
Yes.
And this would have been on June 5th of 2018.
That's correct.
Now, did you put and document in that report anything about Miss Benefield?
I would have to look. If you don't mind, I can certainly.
Please.
Doesn't sound like your brother kept an eye on you. Just saying.
No, I don't see anything about Ms. Benefield in this supplement.
Okay, you did determine though that the package, once you got the receipt, you determined the date the package was sent.
Yes.
And that was on when?
November 27th, which is when the injunction was signed off on by the judge. It was the
Yeah.
same day.
But you also determined that the hearing on the injunction was November 3rd,
That
2017.
That was the hearing, but the judge did
Yeah.
not sign off on this until the 27th, which was
Alright,
the
go.
same day. So
Right. But
Do
at
you
the
know how old
hearing,
he is?
Mr. Benefield was present when the judge announced.
yes, when he announced, but it was
Okay.
my understanding it's not in effect until the judge granted his signature on the 27th, which is the same day that Mr. Benefield sent out that T-set.
Okay.
No
Who
way.
is
He's older.
the
He's got to be older.
lead detective in this case,
For which case?
for the homicide case?
I'm not sure.
Is it Detective Warren?
I don't know.
Do you recall contacting Detective Warren on November 30th, 2020 at 7:47 a.m.?
I do remember contacting him. I'm not sure if that's the date, but yes, I did.
Okay. And do you now recall that Detective Warren is the lead homicide investigator?
I'm not sure if he was the lead. I know that he was at that scene, but I'm not sure if he's the lead investigator.
Okay, so you talked to Detective Warren on that day.
Yes,
All right.
You then, 16 days later, Detective wrote another supplementary report, correct?
I'm not sure if it was 16 days later. I would have to.
Why don't you take a look and
Sure.
see if that report isn't 16 days following your contact with Detective Warren.
And when did you say I contacted Detective?
Wait, that's what
Warren?
I thought.
You contacted Detective Warren
when I
on
guess of the guy on the
September
stand?
30th, 2020 at 7:47 a.m.
Oh yeah, I thought we were talking guess the age of the detective.
Yes, I.
That's it.
entered this supplement
That's embarrassing.
on October.
Sorry,
15th
June.
of 2020.
Okay. Now, following your conversation with Detective Warren on that day, September 30th, 2020 at 7:47 a.m. in the morning, you write a third supplement, do you not?
Correct.
And it's dated October 15th, 2020,
That is correct.
16 days after speaking with Detective Warren.
That is correct.
In that supplement, you list, do you not, the details of what you described today about how Miss Benefield behaved.
That's correct.
So let's make sure we understand this now. This is 2.5 years following the discussion that you related to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury of Miss Benefield's response. 2.5 years later, you remember the details of the conversation
Absolutely.
and exactly what she said? Quotes, you quote her,
Yes.
but you never mention
I
one
need
word of it
Derek on
in
here
your
to
supplement
examine
that
her
you
body
wrote
language.
on June 5th of 2018.
You are absolutely correct.
Nothing further.
Redirect.
Let me just check. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Redirect.
Why didn't you add that information to your supplement back in 2018?
In my initial supplement, which was May 31st, I did put in that supplement that she demanded an arrest be made in the courtroom when he appeared. At the time of my interaction with her, I didn't see anything she said at that time as a direct threat to Doug. It had no relevance to my case. I saw this as her just having this massive meltdown because she wasn't getting her way with me. So at that point, it was just not relevant for my case. There was no reason, but circumstances have changed. I thought that's information that needed to be heard.
So, and what circumstances?
Obviously, Mr. Benefield is deceased at this time. And her words at that time may have had an entirely different meaning. I did not take it as a threat.
Hi,
I
Jenny.
took her saying that I'll do whatever I have to do to keep my baby, you a-hole, as my manipulation attempt for the court system. Not that she was going to create any harm to Mr. Benefield. Now, she never mentioned anything like that. She was never any threats. But I just took that as a manipulation attempt. When she wasn't getting her way with me, it was a meltdown. And there was just no reason for me to put that in my supplement that she was having this massive meltdown because I wasn't going to buy into it.
And so after she murders Doug Benefield, you thought it was relevant,
I
obviously.
thought that was very relevant information that needed to be heard.
And did you reach out to someone about that?
I did.
Or did they reach out to you?
I reached out to him.
You reached out to Detective Warren,
Yes.
correct? Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Did Detective Warren direct you to write this up?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't take orders from him to begin with.
And 2.5 years later, you remembered that she said specific things. This will help me keep my baby if the judge sees you arrest him, quote unquote.
Yes, because it's a very, very bizarre comment I've never heard before in my career.
That's like 600 something cases later.
That's fair.
That's all.
Okay, can you be released from the subpoena?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, you're released from your subpoena. You're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
No, I'm sorry, Judge. You're on Larson. Sorry.
Detective Gillen. Hold on. Sir, you have not been released from your subpoena. The rule of sequestration has been invoked by the attorneys. That means that you cannot discuss with anyone your testimony here today, the questions that were asked of you. With the attorneys, parties, anyone else, you can't talk with other witnesses about their testimony or the questions that were asked of them. You can't watch any of the proceedings that may be online. You are still sequestered pursuant to your subpoena.
Yes, sir.
State.
State calls Detective Brian Moreland.
That's what we hope to find out, Griggsy. That's what we hope to find out. And we hope to find out later on if you can save her.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are
As
you,
the
sir?
deputy said, just make yourself comfortable in that chair. Get about 12 to 15 inches away from the microphone. It does adjust up, down, left, right. And if you just speak in a loud, clear voice right at the microphone, it'll pick everything up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please state your name.
Detective Brian Moreland,
How do you spell both names?
Brian Moreland.
And we've had some testimony about a Judge Moreland. I just want to make it clear. Is there any relation between you and Judge Moreland?
No, ma'am.
What is your employer?
Manatee County Sheriff's Office.
How long have
Florida,
you been there?
Kel Marie.
Since 2004.
What is your current position with them?
I'm a crimes against children detective
How long have you done that job?
since January 2011.
And crimes against children, is it known by an acronym?
CAC,
CAC. Okay. So if you hear
Nah.
CAC detective, that's what we're talking about.
that's correct.
All right. So you've worked in that capacity for several years. So you were working in that capacity between 2017, 2019.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What does the CAC unit investigate?
Any crime that involves a child.
Crimes against
any
children.
crime against the child, I should say.
That's what CAC
Sexual
stands
abuse,
for. We just went
physical
over
abuse, malnourishment cases.
Come on.
Things of that nature.
And we heard that your office, you share an office space with other departments.
Yes.
And what are
The
those?
domestic violence unit is also in our office.
Okay. And back then, 2017 through 19, there was another entity in there with you. The child protection services, were they in your?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, DCF was in there.
DCF. Okay. I apologize. The letters have changed over the years. So,
Obviously, yes.
all right. Did you do a lot of investigations alongside specifically DCF or child protection services, what I call it?
So being in a crimes against children unit, we often work very closely with other agencies, DCF especially. My job as a law enforcement agent is to investigate crimes, basically. The child protection investigators, their job is to protect the children and offer services when needed.
Okay. So they have different goals.
Correct.
All right. When there's an allegation of child abuse, just generally, what is the protocol? To who investigates, who gets the information? Like how does that go?
Generally, a report will come through the abuse hotline. Law enforcement gets notified, and DCF or child protection investigator will get notified, assign the case, and go out. And we usually do that in tandem.
Okay.
So we're all there at the same time, and like we said before, different goals.
Different
When we
goals, but
get
you're
there.
there at the same time,
That's correct.
typically. Okay. And sometimes reports can come in, someone can just walk into the station, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Or call or do something like
Yes,
that with the sheriff's
and
office.
if we get it first, then that deputy, whoever's writing that report, contact the abuse hotline.
I'll trim
Okay.
my beard for you, Junior.
So I want to talk about, well, first let me ask you about Detective Gillum. So you said you're with the domestic violence unit.
That's right.
Do you know Detective Gillum?
I do.
Have you worked side by side or at least in the
We've
same
worked in the
space?
same office for many years. Yes.
Okay. And he just testified about a phone call that he had
Thanks, Ann.
that he remembers quite well.
Yes.
Do you recall him having a interesting phone call?
I remember the phone call. yes.
Okay. Were you sitting there?
We shared a cubicle wall, so we couldn't actually physically see each other, but we could hear obviously everything that was going on.
Okay. And did this seem like a typical phone call that he?
He
No.
seemed quite exasperated at the end of that phone call.
Okay. At the time, did you know who Ashley Benefield was?
Yes.
Did you later become involved with Ashley Benefield with reference to CAC?
Yes.
And around December 2019, were there several investigations that came in, started a series of several investigations that came into your department?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to ask you about the first report or the first investigation. About when was that?
Can I refer to my report?
Sure, go right ahead.
December 10th, 2019.
Okay. And generally speaking, what was the complaint?
Judge, you know, based on prior motions and we.
Yes, sir. I understand. Overruled. Go ahead.
Thanks, sir. This investigation involved allegations of sexual abuse.
Okay, so sexual abuse, obviously of a child.
Yes, ma'am.
And who was the child?
Emerson Caney.
And who was the complaint against?
Douglas Benefield.
Objection. Oh, I'm sorry, withdrawn.
Is it the same objection?
No, withdrawn.
Go ahead.
So did you get assigned to the case?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And so just as a matter of procedure, when you initially, when Manatee County Sheriff's Office gets a case, you're not initially assigned right away, right?
No.
What happens before you get it?
Generally, what happens in cases like this is however we receive the report, whether it be through the hotline, whether it gets reported directly to the sheriff's office, a uniformed deputy along with a child protection investigator will go out to the scene. The uniformed officer will normally write the information down in a report, and that information gets filtered through our supervision. And if it needs to be assigned, it's assigned.
Okay. So theoretically, on this particular complaint, there had been some work done before you got it.
That's correct.
Okay. And then did you continue that investigation?
Yes, ma'am.
And as part of that investigation, was Emerson sent to the child protection team?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the child protection team?
The child protection team is a state-funded team that for
Same objection, Your Honor.
Sustain.
for my criminal investigations.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sustain.
Sustained.
Next
Just
question.
zip it, dude.
Okay. Did
Sustained.
did you talk to Douglas Benefield?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you also speak to Ashley Benefield?
Don't recall if I spoke with Ashley on that particular case. I believe she was interviewed already.
Okay. And what did you do with the case? Were any charges filed?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about the second report, and that was what? date?
Welcome, Carla.
Report date was March 21st, 2020.
Okay.
March 21st.
Carla, just to bring up
2020.
to speed, the people are talking about this guy's facial
Generally
hair.
speaking, what was that allegation?
Ways to improve it. And there's a trial going on too.
That was a physical abuse allegation.
Okay. Physical abuse against,
Douglas Benefield,
and the victim of that would have been,
Emerson Caney.
okay, same parties.
Mhm.
And how old was Emerson at the time, approximately?
2 years old.
And again, the same question, had some things been done before you got the case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you continue that
I
investigation?
did.
And at some point, did a second complaint come in before you were finished?
On the 23rd of, so March 23rd, 2020. Yes.
Okay, so a couple days later.
Mhm.
And what was this complaint?
It was again physical abuse.
Different than what came in a few days before?
Yes.
Okay. Did you investigate those two things together?
I put them in the same report.
And what did you do with those cases?
No charges were filed.
And I'd like to talk to you about the third report. When did that come to MSO, or when did you get it?
April 5th, 2020.
Okay. And generally speaking, what was that allegation
Physical abuse.
of Emerson?
Yeah.
And by Doug
Douglas.
Benefield?
Yes.
And once again, before it was over, did you get another complaint?
On the 27th, another deputy responded.
Okay. And what was that complaint?
Again, physical abuse.
Same parties?
Yes.
Any takers?
Did you again investigate those two case numbers together?
Yes.
And what did you do with those cases?
No charges were filed.
Tia Nena, welcome.
At some point, were you a part of what's called a staffing?
Yes.
And what is a staffing?
A staffing is when the entities, as I mentioned before, come together and try to find a good way, or moving forward, a good way to protect the child.
Okay. And did you attend a staffing on this particular case?
The plethora of
The
cases,
Benefield,
yes. Mhm.
yes. And as a result of that, were Ashley and Doug assigned to go to therapy with Dr. Broder, or not therapy, an evaluation with Dr. Broder?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Cross?
Yes.
Oh dear. All right, let's cross-examine about what he put in his report so we can hear hearsay objections. Let's watch.
Just a few questions for you,
Yes, sir.
Detective Moore.
It might be June.
The cases that you referred to, I think you said there were 5 of them.
Yes, sir.
I don't want any details.
Okay.
Those cases have to be reported, correct?
Yes,
That's how they're initiated.
that's correct.
And would it be safe to say that in this case, the reporters, without any names, the reporters were,
Objection calls for hearsay.
Go ahead, finish your question.
reporters were not all the same?
That I wouldn't know. I'd have to go look.
Do you have the reports with you?
I do have the reports with me. I
Why
don't
don't you-
know if it's going to tell me who the reporter was.
Something,
Whether-
Is
whether-
somebody clicking something over here? If you are, please stop.
I don't
Go ahead.
want to know names,
Okay,
okay? The names are confidential, are they not?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just merely want you to tell us whether or not, in fact, the reporters were different individuals. Would you search your,
I can
Files.
look. I don't think the reports
Yeah.
are going to tell me, but
Judge already objected hearsay.
Let him look at his report.
Right now, the
Come on.
question is just,
whether the reports were from different
Oh.
individuals?
so it appears the report on 12/10/2019.
I just want to, because we're in a bit of a delicate area.
Mhm.
Detective, I just want to establish whether or not, if in reviewing your reports, you're able to tell us if the reports were initiated by different individuals.
By looking at my reports, I cannot tell you that indefinitely.
Did you at any time personally interview Ashley Benefield?
I honestly, I may have. I don't recall if I ever interviewed Ashley. I know I interviewed Douglas quite often. Initially, when I get these cases, the
Did
Uh,
you? I'm sorry.
interviews with her were already completed. So,
Did you at any time personally interview the child?
no.
I don't believe I have anything else. Let me just check, Your Honor.
All right, you check, dude.
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Redirect.
I believe you said, with respect to did you interview Ashley, that you said by the time it gets to you, a lot of times those interviews have been done.
That's correct.
And that would be by who?
Uniform.
Uniform. And then he asked, did you interview the child? Do you normally interview children?
No.
What is the protocol for children?
Forensic interviews are done by child protection team.
Okay. And so generally speaking, you wouldn't say you interviewed children?
No.
And was this child of an age to be interviewed anyway?
No.
Okay. No further questions.
Oh my goodness, look who is gracing us with
This
his
witness be
presence. I can't believe it.
I'm sorry.
Can this witness
Yes.
be released?
Sorry.
Mr. Taylor, can this witness be released?
Yes.
Sir, you're hereby released from your subpoena. You're free to go. Thank you. All right, members of the jury, we came back early. We went to an early lunch, so we got back a little bit early. It's now, I think, a good time to take our mid-afternoon break. It is about 2:50. So how about if we take, it'll probably end up being about 15 or 20 minutes. So you can go back in the jury room. You are free to use your phones. If you need to send or receive texts or emails or phone calls, just don't talk with anybody about the case amongst yourselves or anyone else. And of course, as we discussed, don't do any research on the people, places, things, or legal topics you've heard anything about. Stretch those legs and we'll see you back in a little bit.
What do you think, Mike? Can you save her? Are you still there? Long time. Nana, this is in Florida.
All right. Jury's out. You have a seat. State looking at the list in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. On the list.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at her tan.
Yes. I have a question about that.
Yes.
So we've had Dr. Vega kind of on hold. And so I don't know how far we'll get with these next 3 witnesses. I could have him come here, but my question would be is if it was gonna take us past 5, if he comes, can we still do it? Because he's very busy and I hate to
It always gets worse.
so much of his time.
It always
Or
gets
should I,
worse.
would Your Honor rather, because I know you want to deal with some other things, would you rather me tell him first thing in the morning? I know you don't know how long these witnesses are gonna come, take.
I could tell the court that Dr. Brother is going to be up there for a while.
And so I just don't, my question is, if I have him come, can we deal with him today? Or do you think once we hit 5 o'clock, if it's beforehand, you're gonna wanna go home? Which I understand either way.
Yeah, I would imagine that if it starts pushing 5 o'clock, we'll probably break and start again tomorrow.
Yes, sir, okay.
You know, it used to always be California, but
Okay.
now it's Florida.
I do have something else, if you don't mind, not as scheduling. So the clerk was kind enough to unseal your order, but the items that were attached are evidently in that room locked up. And so I just don't know how we could get a copy because I haven't seen them. And so I just wanted to address it with the court of how to get a copy.
The evidence clerk is making copies.
Oh,
good.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Way to go, evidence clerk.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, Mike. Griggsy is going to fix her. He's going to save her. He already called dibs. So, you know. Well, you won't find her there, Griggsy. You won't find her in California. So, look at that. There we go. Great seal of. She is a ballerina, you know. Has he? Okay, let's hear the story. Come on, we got nothing but time now. Let's hear about your biz. Hi, Piva. Welcome. You just got here right on a break. Okay. Details. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, what do we have here while we're on a break?
Oh yeah, baby.
Wow.
I did not know there would be a live stream on Viva Las Vegas today.
Well, you know what? I was, since I don't work, ask Golden Girl. I don't, even though I put on a tie. I did actually go to court today, and I actually have to go to court tomorrow too. So yes, I do work.
I had court today.
Did
It's
you?
no good. Wait, what's going on with my thing here? My green screen's all messed up.
Your green screen's
All
all
right,
messed
that's
up? All right. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm having technical issues. What's going on with this
Yes.
trial?
Well, there was a guy with facial hair that all the ladies didn't like. We talked about Griggsy's dating life. She meets his criteria, the defendant. She's over 18. She's breathing. Oh, the trial. Sorry. I'm just keeping up with the gossip here. Now, this is the Black Swan. This is the ballerina that is accused of killing her husband. Well, she did kill him.
Ooh.
Basically, it's a question of self-defense. Was he abusive? There's a TPO. We've heard from some of the cops that do the TPO injunctions and sort of things, and he had violated that. She wanted him arrested. We heard some of that. And we heard that she's crazy. She demanded that he be arrested because she was going to lose her baby and all that. So all sorts of crazy drama.
Wow.
But the fun is in the chat. You know that.
Did this
Come
trial
on.
just start?
This is day 2. Yes, this is yesterday. I was going to start yesterday trying to stream it, but I was not able to. So I started right here.
Is
day
the
2.
defense actual self-defense? Is that what she's going to claim here?
Well, yeah, because there's pretty much no doubt that she killed him. You know who knows everything? Where's Daniela when we need her? She knows all the details. So yeah, it's self-defense because she killed him. and we just got
How'd she kill him?
Self-defense. Well, I don't know. I think she shot him.
Or don't we know yet?
So, but yes, she's murderous but limber AF, according to Katie. I think maybe that's why
good
Griggsy
Lord.
likes her. So
It sounds like a good one.
yeah, no, it's
What does she look like? I didn't see. Put the trial back up.
gosh.
Where's the trial?
Where's the trial?
There's nothing
The
happening.
trial's right there. We're
we
just
go.
got this seal. You know, I always keep thinking her name
Is
is
she cute?
Ashley Benefield. And I always keep thinking of Ashley Banfield, the reporter chick.
Yeah.
So oh yes, I forgot. June married a stalker too. We discussed that too in the chat. So lots of things. Oh, okay. Here we go. See, people know more about this than I do. Lead poisoning. In the opening statement, he punched their dog and knocked it unconscious. Oh, well, that's just terrible.
That's not good.
Oh yeah, people are not happy with her lime green blazer. So a lot of in-depth kind of stuff here we've been going through about this murder trial here.
Well, it sounds ugly.
Yeah, let's see if I can find her. Let's see what's Ashley Benefield. She's she's cute. She's looking kind of rough, man. I got to be honest. I think the trial maybe, but let's see here. Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Here's what I really want to know.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how to do this.
What's that?
I don't know how to make this go. How do I make it go?
What are you trying to make go?
This.
You're not used to being in the.
Yeah.
Here. There we go.
I think I'm running this stream, but I'm not running this stream.
Sorry, bro.
I'm just co-pilot on this deal.
Well, you can still add stuff. You can still add stuff on.
How do I add it?
On the StreamYard? I don't know. Can't you just add a? You can't add a.
Let me see here.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Now that I think that.
Oh, I don't
Try it
have.
now.
I don't have my
Try it now.
usual stuff.
There, you can add stuff.
I can add stuff.
You should be able to. I just clicked it. I think you can add your own stuff. Mike is Gen X. Thank you very much. Don't insult him. Mike is boomering. Katie, come on, have some respect here.
It won't do it.
What? It won't do it?
It won't
wait,
do
hang
it.
on.
I don't know.
Ma'am,
I
are
don't
you
know
a
how to do it.
whore?
Is that what you're trying to? There we go.
I object to the relevance of that, Your Honor.
There you go. Sorry, I had to add it. That was my fault.
What?
I'll tie it up real quick, Judge.
All right, go ahead.
You're not a whore?
I just wanted to get to the main question.
Oh dear. Yes, asking the real questions here, as always. See, this is why you're at approaching 250,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You asked the
Quality
real
content
questions.
like that.
Yes. That's asking
Ma'am, are
again.
you a
Come on.
whore?
I object to the relevance of that, Your Honor.
What?
All right, what?
I'll
Judge,
tie it up
I
real
would-
quick, Judge.
I'll allow it.
All right,
I want
go
to
ahead.
know.
You're not a whore?
This stream is going to take off now. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a whore. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, don't talk, Griggsy. Don't break his heart. He's gonna save her when this is all done. So
Griggsy, Griggsy's here. Yeah. Yeah. He's
yeah, he's gonna save her.
he is in search of a woman to simp for. He really is.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, he's so what are you saying? You're not recommending marriage, Mike? What are you
No.
saying? Don't.
You know my feelings about on this topic.
Oh, come on. Don't. All right. We don't want to break any of the ladies'
you
hearts
know,
here. We want them to
if
think they have a chance. We want them to think that, yes, telling me there's a chance. So, all right, we won't go into it. You will break too many hearts if they knew.
Ben,
how
you know
you
exactly what sort of gentleman I am.
do. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So how long do they go to break for here?
They said like 20 minutes.
Ma'am, are you a
So we'll
whore?
just ask you, Mike.
I
Are you a
object to
whore?
the relevance of that, Your Honor.
Well, I gotta get you some
All
more. I
right,
think
what?
I'll tie it up real quick, Judge.
You got to give me some what?
let me see here. I don't know about this one though, so I'm trying to. Does this woman work?
Yeah, here we go. Mike, replay that clip and ask yourself the question. Okay, here
Let
we
me
go.
see here.
This one?
And do you have a job when you're not in custody?
Yes, I do have a job.
Where do you work?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Oh, I work, I sell burritos sometimes.
She sells burritos.
Do you have a job? Yeah.
I sell burritos sometimes. All right.
All right.
But,
So how old is this woman? How old is the defendant?
Anyone know? She is 32, from what I believe. Let's see. Yes,
getting up
Ashley
there now.
Benefield, a 32. Oh dear. This is why we can't have you on here. This is why we can't have nice things. 32-year-old former ballerina is on trial for second-degree murder of her estranged husband, Doug Benefield. Here's key points. Ashley Benefield has conceded that she fatally shot her husband, Doug, but claims she acted in self-defense. Prosecutors argue that Ashley's motivation was not self-defense, but rather to gain sole custody of their then 2-year-old daughter and prevent the results of a psychological evaluation from being revealed during a scheduled custody hearing. According to prosecutors, Ashley had been planning to withhold the news of their daughter's birth from Doug while they were separated. And 3 days before the custody hearing, she shot and killed him to eliminate the competition. Ashley's defense attorney has portrayed Doug as an abusive husband. Prosecutors have countered that there is no evidence of abuse and that Ashley's actions were a last-ditch effort to gain custody. So, timeline. The couple met at an event in 2016, got married 13 days later. Nice. In less than a year, Ashley became pregnant with Doug's child. The couple's love story began to unravel and they eventually separated. In 2020, Ashley shot and killed Doug, allegedly in self-defense. The trial began yesterday. So there you go. You are brought.
This is what we need now. Play it. Let's do it.
What are we
I'm feeling
playing?
all fuzzy now.
All right, are we back? So, yes. Oh, I thought she looks rough. Her. But he was mean to the dog. Yes, apparently opening statements. He punched the dog unconscious.
Do we believe that?
What's that? That he punched a dog unconscious?
Yeah. I mean, is there like a police report or like some independent verification, or is this her assertion?
That's just what her defense attorney said. Defense attorneys don't lie, so you can take him.
That's true. That's true. Defense attorneys never lie.
If you ever meet a criminal defense attorney, you just lock on and you believe what that.
I haven't seen any of the trial yet. Well, based on this summer here, I'm feeling a conviction coming on.
Yeah, I think so. I think
You want to claim
it's
self-defense?
inevitable.
You shoot the guy with the gun. I mean, unless he's holding the gun, he's got a gun in his hand. Okay, now we've got a self-defense theory.
So now what we did here, though, is that there was a TPO, or there was a protective order. I don't know what they call them there in Florida. There was a protective order in place. He had violated that. She had tried to get him arrested. That was, the prosecution brought that up. I guess that she was sort of hysterical, calling the detective saying, hey, you need to arrest him. You need to arrest him like in front of the judge because he's violated the protective order. So there was, I guess, some abuse or something that she got a protective order, but
the protective order, I mean, it could just simply be don't be in the same place or something. It doesn't mean he's abusing her.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I wish that was the case here. The detective's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to arrest the guy. I'm like, man, they arrest people for nothing on violating TPOs, on violating stay away orders like it was nothing out here in Vegas. So anyway. So, but you know what? I do have, hang on. Let me see. I might have something. While we're
Look at you, though.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at you. Look at you filling in the 20-minute gap. I don't even do this. When I'm doing a trial and they take a 20-minute gap, I just turn my camera off and say, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back when the trial is. That's it.
Well, I'm no Mike Gravlin, so I gotta just,
That's the lazy man way to handle that sort of stream scenario.
Just like, but wait, I do have this though for everybody. So where did we go? That I did in trying to find, I've been trying to find this stupid 1.0 content, and it's not been
the OG content.
Yes, the OG content. And let's see here. And I do have this though that I got. Where is it? Let's see here. Come on. If I can bring it up, let's see if I'm yes, I think I can. There it is. There, what I have from Viva Las Vegas 1.0 from my very first video. Mike Gravlin, true to his word, took his shirt off. I do have a photograph here of a shirtless Mike Gravlin. So yes, in coming across and looking for
I remember that
stuff. So there we go, ladies. Look at
those shoulders.
That's right. Look at that. Look at that. So there you go, man. There is some.
Oh no!
I still have some 1.0 content there. So, it's
what
not
happened
all
to your old videos?
It's my StreamYard, whatever, in an old. Yeah, they were in an old account. I don't have access to that email, and Google and StreamYard are trying to talk to each other. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're locked in the cloud somewhere, except for that lovely image there of a shirtless Mike Gravlin.
Oh, I'm glad that survived.
The very first, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Yes. Look at that.
Oh.
So you're getting that. He exfoliates. Look at that. You got that glow. Kel Marie is not. She's not satisfied. Pauline thinks it's awesome. Anyway. Look at that. We did. We all needed that. Are you kidding me? We all needed that. We all needed that. So maybe I'll bring that back every now and then.
No, we need the Love Boat clip. Now let's do that.
Okay, what's the Love Boat clip?
I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy after hearing about this relationship.
The Love Boat. What is the Love Boat? You got something else there?
Recording error. Yeah, it's down there.
Oh, they want more. Sorry. I shouldn't have done it, man. I just now have unleashed a monster, Mike.
So how long is this trial going to go? Where are we at?
I don't know. We're on
State's
day
case.
2.
Couple witnesses
Yeah.
in.
Couple witnesses
They've done
in.
openings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're on day 2 now. So.
Did you do it yesterday?
No, I didn't. I was going to, and then I didn't do it. I had some technical issues and some.
Going to, and then I did.
No, I have another job though. That's the problem, you know. I do have another job, and they I gotta kind of do stuff. I will though. Yeah, I got a. Oh my gosh, but I think I'm gonna get fired. I got appointed as standby counsel for another case that will rival Mr. Blandino, honestly, but I had a.
You just got appointed standby counsel again?
Yeah, I got yes last week, and I am. As of yesterday, he was going to fire me, so and I am perfectly fine with that. So that's about all I'm gonna say for right now.
Well, I don't know.
But,
They did the whole standby counsel thing to you, and then after all that, they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to try the case now."
Yeah, no. No. So let's see. Yeah, we're still on a break here. Yes, soft sit.
You have a soft sit?
Yeah, that was this case. He's, representing himself. It's, I don't want to go too much into it because I'm going to be off of it here. So,
Do you have a
yes,
fez?
that's. What's that?
Maybe if you wear your fez, he wouldn't fire you.
I'll try the fez.
You can borrow.
No, I don't want. I wanted to be. No, I'm fine.
You can borrow mine.
I'm fezless. Yes, Hedwig, standby is a paid gig, but anyway, that's why I wasn't able to stream yesterday. I had to deal with that case. I had some matters to deal with, so yeah.
You and your fancy schmancy law practicing.
I know. I gotta figure out how to work less and get paid more.
Always good to
There
know.
we go. We should do Sarah Boone together. Oh, wait. I'm hearing something. All right, hang on.
Are they back?
They are back. Let's see here.
They're back, baby.
They're back better than ever. Here, let's go underneath there. There she is.
That's her?
Yeah,
she's not bad.
Yep, that's her. She's
cute. I mean, she's crazy and
flexible.
she's a killer, but she's cute.
She's. Wait, are they ready to call the? Yes, Kel Marie. That is what I need. I need a sugar mama. Wait, what is this you got here, Mike? Should we watch The Love Boat? What is this? Wait, oops.
All right, y'all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. Did anybody give deliberations amongst yourselves? Talk with anybody outside the jury about anything about the case? Or do any research on people, places, things, or legal topics you bring on back?
No, sir.
He says no. Call your next
Kel,
witness.
come on. And all these dudes in prison that are getting
Brad
letters and getting married to their fans, all those guys on death row. Please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Also,
Good afternoon, Judge.
my name is Judge White. I'm presiding over the case. As the deputy said, just make yourself comfortable in that chair. You want to be about 12 to 15 inches from the microphone, so you can probably scoot up just a little bit. Adjust this left, right, up, down. And just speaking a loud, clear voice, it should pick up everything. So hear you breathing.
Fair enough.
All right, brother.
Bless you.
Good
I'm gonna peace
afternoon.
out right now.
Good afternoon.
Coming, brother.
For the record, we renew all prior objections.
Yes, sir. Overruled.
Please state your name.
Brad Stephen Broder,
How do you spell your last name?
Broeder.
What is your profession?
I'm a psychologist, clinical psychologist licensed here in the state of Florida and in New York State.
And how long have you been a clinical psychologist?
I got my PhD in clinical psychology back in December of 1986.
And when did you move to Florida? I think you said New York. You were in
Correct,
New York
correct.
before.
I first practiced in New York and relocated here in the summer of 96. I was licensed here by February of 1997.
A New Yorker who moved to
Been practicing
Florida.
here ever since.
Whoever heard of
And
such
do you
a
have your
thing?
own private practice?
Exactly. I'm a solo practitioner.
Okay. Do you also do some, what I would call consulting work for the child protection team or child protective services?
Yes, I've been a consulting psychologist to the Sarasota County Child Protection Team since the summer of 1999, and several years later was hired as a consulting psychologist by the Manatee Children's Services, which is their name for their child protection team. Pardon me. And recently been contracted with the Fort Myers Child Protection Team. That's just as of this summer.
Okay. And can you just briefly explain what are your duties with reference to being a contractor for the child protection team? What do you generally do?
Well, through the Department of Health, each county in the state of Florida is supposed to have a consulting psychologist on their team. And that is for several reasons. One, it helps out with supervisory cases if on an as-needed basis, as well as once or twice a year, there's supposed to be in-service trainings where you conduct seminars, do presentations to help the staff there. But primarily it's to attend the multidisciplinary staffings, which they're asking the consultant to come in and discuss, you know, a certain case, what might be going on, if you have any kind of impressions or recommendations. Based upon those kind of meetings, then sometimes the psychologist myself would be asked to conduct an evaluation.
Okay. And ultimately, were you asked to conduct an evaluation of Doug and Ashley and Emerson Benefield?
I was specifically asked to conduct psychological evaluations on each of the parents, both Doug and Ashley, but not their child, Emerson.
Okay. The child was pretty young, correct?
2 years, 4 months to be exact, during the time I did the evaluation in the summer of 2020.
Okay. So you started the evaluation about when? You said summer, but
I believe it was June 1st to be exact when I first met Ashley, and the next day I had met Doug for the initial intake interviews.
okay. And what was the general goal of these interviews? You eventually were going to report back, I would assume, to the entity that hired you.
Yes, each psychological evaluation is meant to be submitting a report with diagnostic impressions and recommendations based upon the data that's been collected. The evaluation is based upon whatever the CPT recommendation was, meaning referral for the recommended evaluation. In this case, Manatee Children's Services had specific questions about each parent.
Okay. So and your evaluation is generally focused toward the best interest of the child. Would that be a correct statement?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you said you first began this around June 1st of 2020.
That's correct.
Did you ultimately complete evaluations of Doug Benefield and Ashley Benefield?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And as part of this evaluation process, did you review documents?
There's a series of steps in any thorough psychological evaluation, which includes collateral data, which is both defined as interviewing other people as well as reviewing documents. Yes.
Okay. And did you do that? You reviewed documents?
Wait, where you going?
If I may, I just brought the reports along with me in case I had to
Okay.
refer to them. But yeah, there was
Sure.
a series of documents reviewed for each of them.
Okay. And we don't need to get into specifics about what the documents were, but you did review several documents for each of them.
I certainly did, yes.
Okay. And what is a collateral interview?
That's when I asked each person to give me a couple names of people that they think understands their situation best that I could contact and call and just do kind of a phone interview. If possible, obviously a face-to-face interview is preferable, but based upon where people are situated and located, sometimes it's just easier to have that telephone conversation. So there are certain people, like the people through Manatee Children's Services, that I was going to be speaking to. For example, Kimberly Griffin, who is the case coordinator. But in addition to that, I asked both Ashley and Doug for their own people that they'd want me to speak to. But then, of course, doing the evaluation, I have the kind of wherewithal based upon what I learned from them, if there are other people I need to speak to or that I believe I should speak to in order to get a more complete picture of the individual.
Okay. And did you in fact do that with reference to both of them? Speak
Yes,
to collateral contact?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. Did you meet with Doug and Ashley and Emerson together or separate?
Given the structure of their family unit, I had multiple interviews with each of them individually. I had several interviews with them together, a couple of interviews with them together as the couple, but several additional interviews with them when they would exchange Emerson at my office, and when we would, kind of see how that the drop off or the exchange goes. But I had also seen each parent with the child, both in their residence as well as in my office. So there were multiple interviews.
Okay. So this sounds pretty extensive. So how much time did it go on over?
Throughout the summer of 2020, I think the report was actually completed and submitted on September 14th of 2020.
So I want to speak with you about Ashley specifically. Did she ever show any hesitation about meeting you with Doug present?
No.
Did she act differently when she was with Doug meeting you as opposed to when she was not with Doug meeting with you?
As I had indicated or described in my report, she did demonstrate or present with a different demeanor when seen together versus when I would just see her individually.
Okay. And when you saw the two of them together, did they discuss the plans for going forward? And I'm talking about moving. So did they discuss that with you?
Ashley had made it very clear that she had every intention and desire to relocate back to her home state of Maryland. Doug had the impression that this was something that he too could do because he had some connections to the Defense Department and some of the work that he did. He felt he'd have more clients up there. So he was perceiving that as he shared with me, a fresh start that they could reconcile and be together in Maryland.
And when Ashley and Doug met with you together, did Ashley indicate that this was the plan, that they were moving all together as a group?
Ashley had no intention of moving together as a group. She had every intention of moving with her mother and Emerson and becoming situated in her grandmother had passed away and the mother had inherited the house. So they had their residence established. So she had that plan.
Okay. And so I guess I wasn't being very clear. Were they moving their items together, like same U-Haul truck?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So Ashley never told you that about that.
Quite to the contrary, she made it clear that she did not
Okay,
want
what did I
him to
miss?
move in, regardless of what he thought or whatever he was planning. That was not part of the plan.
Okay. And when she was alone, she would indicate to you those things that you just described? Or
Yes,
did she indicate that when she was with Doug?
when she was with me during our individual meetings.
Okay. When she was with Doug, how was her demeanor? How was her attitude about those issues?
She would basically respond in a very deferential way. She would let him say what he wanted to say, but my focus was not so much on what their future plans were. It was they weren't even officially divorced. My focus was, again, getting back to the point about the best interest of the child. Child protection team is, how do we get this family out of this stressful situation and then create something that's going to be better for Emerson.
Did Doug, during your joint sessions, did Doug express in front of Ashley that his hopes that moving forward, this was going to be an attempt at reconciliation? Did he express that in front of Ashley?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Did Ashley ever correct him and say, whoa, wait a minute. No, we're not doing that.
Not really. I think the closest she ever got to that was to kind of say, well, just kind of slow it down and, we'll talk about that later. And that's, that kind of thing. She would kind of deflect attention away from that.
And did she ever say in one of her individual sessions with you, did she ever say anything to you about she was running out of time and needed to move to Maryland or something like that? Do you recall?
Yes, we had that discussion in one of the sessions.
And can you just explain what she said about that?
In essence, she was very frustrated and concerned that
I'm going to object to, as I understand it, he's called as a fact witness, and he's giving opinion.
Okay, you can answer the question. What was it that she said about the issue of running out of time and wanting to move to Maryland?
She was openly sharing with me her utter frustration with the sheriff's office, with CPT, with the court system, indirectly with myself, although she had also complimented me by thanking me for doing a quote unquote thorough job. But who was going to look out for Emerson? Who was going to help Emerson? And she needed to do something. She needed this to be over with so she could get on with her life. She used the phrase, "My life is in a shambles."
Okay. And did she make any statements to you about why she needed this to be over so quickly? Or why was it, did she feel it was taking too long? I guess it should be my question.
She certainly felt it took too long and she just wanted to get on with her life.
Okay.
So that's why she had to kill him.
Did she admit to you that she was, in fact, going to marriage counseling with Doug?
She had been in agreement with
Welcome,
them starting with a
England.
second marriage counselor, Dr. Quintel, after their attempts at marriage counseling with Sharon Foster had not.
It's only
Okay. So she indicated that
can you
their
see
intent
that?
to go to Dr.
105
Quintel.
degrees.
But during the same time, was she still saying they would not reconcile, or she was saying they did want to reconcile?
I don't think she ever used the word reconcile when with Doug. She clearly made it very clear to me that she had no intention of reconciling.
Okay. And during this time, I would say the year at least before your meeting, did Ashley talk to you about doing things with Doug? And for instance, I'm talking about lunch and activities. Did she talk to you about that?
Throughout the time that I worked with them, it was very clear they were very open, sharing with me the things that they would do together, such as, for example, the hit movie that particular summer was the sci-fi thriller Tenet, T-E-N-E-T, and they had agreed to go see that so the grandma could watch Emerson. They have a quote-unquote date. they enjoyed the movie so much, but also found it kind of confusing, hard to follow, that they agreed to see it a second time together and had a follow-up date for that movie. But in addition to that, they had done other things. She would go to Doug's apartment complex where they could use the community pool and take Emerson into the pool. They shared with me that they had gone to the beach. She described in detail watching Doug, I think it was Father's Day specifically in my notes there, which she described how nice it was to see Doug playing with Emerson, playing in the sand with Emerson. And so then from there, they would go out to lunch or go out to dinner, sometimes with Emerson and the grandmother, sometimes without. So they were, throughout the time I was working with them, they were seeing each other.
Okay. Did Ashley ever talk to you about the birth certificate for Emerson?
Naturally, in this kind of evaluation, since it concerns a child, they talk about the child,
Bye,
and
Tia.
the marriage and the relationship, and see each parent with the child. So yeah, that came up. She gave birth at Tampa General Hospital and signed the birth certificate.
It's true. It's a true statement.
Emerson Grace Caney.
And do you know whose name Caney is?
She wanted to keep her grandfather's family name, and so therefore she used that name.
Okay, so the child wasn't named Benefield.
Was not.
And did she ever put, or did she indicate to you whether she ever put Doug on the birth certificate as the father?
She did not. That became a point of contention with the two of them, things that they were discussing, changing the name from Emerson Grace Caney to Emerson Caney Benefield. That was an issue that they were discussing.
And did she ever admit to you that she didn't tell Doug that she was even giving birth?
She shared that she did not inform him.
Okay. And you mentioned a little while ago that she was frustrated with some of the agencies. I think you said law enforcement, the courts, that kind of a thing. Did she express why she was upset with them?
She felt that Doug was unfit to parent Emerson, that he was only using the child to get her back, to win her back, so to speak.
Okay. And these agencies, they played into that, or they didn't play into that?
What was described and came out of our discussions in the interview sessions was that she felt that no one was willing to step forward to protect Emerson, that they all got it wrong, for example. So when CPT evaluated the situation where she had bruising on the neck, she described to me that it was several days later, so the bruising didn't show up, and that went down as unsubstantiated, so it was never followed up on. And
Okay. So she basically felt like they were getting it wrong. These agencies were getting it wrong.
no one was protecting Emerson. She did not agree with that.
During one of your last meetings with Ashley, did you have a conversation with her in your waiting room?
The day after, a day or two after the report was submitted on the 14th.
No,
Ashley
not
showed up
anymore.
in my waiting room, unexpected, unannounced.
Not anymore.
And she wanted a copy of the report, and I had explained to her procedurally that the work product that I produce is then the property, in this case, of Manatee Children's Services, and it had submitted to them. But I let her know that, you know, she'd be able to get a copy through her attorney, but they did have to get a court order to release it. And that's usually what happens. It's kind of a formality, but it's no longer something for me to share or divulge.
Okay. And did she have a reaction to that?
Her reaction was that she felt, again, very frustrated, thwarted in her efforts. She wanted to get on with her life, and she felt, she needed to know what was going to be recommended so she could move on.
Okay. And during that conversation with her, did she say anything that that struck you as interesting during that conversation with her?
Well, she had explained previously and then repeated it then that once she was able to relocate to Maryland, she wanted to establish residence, as she had, in essence, researched it, knowing that if she had established residence for at least 6 months, she could then appeal to the authorities in Maryland to get relief and have Emerson, basically have full custody of Emerson and not that. So she had used the phrase during that conversation that she would take matters into her own hands.
Okay. And did she express to you at that time about being frustrated about the timing? Things weren't going fast enough?
By that time, she was, again, ready to move on, and she was frustrated with the entire system.
Okay. And did she make any more statements to you at that time?
Not that I recall. Again, I tried to encourage her to be patient, that her attorney would definitely be able to get a copy of the report.
No,
They could
it's not going to be
work things
good.
out once they read the report, and they should be able to settle things.
Okay. And did she ever say what she would do if it
Let's see
wasn't
what happens
fast
on
enough?
cross, though.
No, I don't think she specified anything more than her desire to, again, get on with her life.
Okay. When was the last time that you saw Ashley? Was it that day that you're talking about?
When she came to the office unexpectedly, yes, that
Okay.
was the last time. Prior to that, the last time I actually saw them was, I saw Doug on September 7th. And then I believe I saw them together on the 10th of September. A little,
And the last time that you saw them together, how did they seem? Did they seem the same as they had the times that you had seen them before?
well, Doug too is becoming frustrated because he was viewing this as a fresh start, as I said. And
Sustained.
Okay, I'll move on. Did you complete the report for Ashley Benefield?
yes,
And how long was that report?
27 pages.
Nah, there's a
And
difference.
did you do the
Cal.
same type of a report for
There's a
Doug?
big difference.
Yes,
And was it about the same length?
I think 24 pages.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Humidity sucks.
I'm sorry, 25 pages.
Okay. And I
Okay,
think you
stop
already
it.
explained
Don't rub
this,
it
but
in.
you turned your report over to
YouTube,
CPT
Golden
when?
Girl.
September 14th.
September 14th. Okay. And then what happens to it after that is not in your hands.
It is, sometimes I find out, sometimes I get feedback, sometimes I don't. It's the work product goes to, in this case, Manatee Children's Services, and
And did any of your evaluation or contacts give you any concern for the safety of Ashley or her child going forward?
their original marriage therapist, Sharon Forrest, had concerns. She certainly expressed concerns, yes.
Did you have any concerns? Well, let me ask you this. Did Ashley Benefield ever say to you that Doug physically harmed her?
No,
Did she present you to you as being fearful for her own safety at the time she was having sessions with you?
her concern was all about the safety of Emerson, not about herself.
Okay. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Excuse me.
Cross.
Okay, here we go.
Give me just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, Granny Ruth, I hope to cover the whole trial, yes. But I do have to work. I have a hearing tomorrow. But don't fear.
Dr. Broder,
We'll see what happens to the
good afternoon.
future
Good
Mrs.
afternoon, sir.
Griggsy.
We've met before.
Yes, sir.
Your history in this case has wound its way through. to where
Very
we
strong,
are
maybe,
today.
Katie.
And it's encompassed prior proceedings, has it not?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And you've had occasion to sit for a deposition in this case.
Yes, correct.
And you've also given previous testimony.
Twice before in the
All right.
dependency
Don't
case.
don't tell me where.
Okay.
So you've told us that Ashley would act.
I tend to
one
agree, but
way
I'm a
when she
defense
was with
attorney.
You, but she
So,
would act differently
what do I
when
know?
she was with Doug. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. And your conclusion that you reached was that she would appease Doug. Was that not the case?
Ashley had shared with me a number of times that she felt the best way to keep Doug at bay so he wouldn't hurt Emerson was to kind of appease him, to kind of go along with him.
Yes. In your words, I believe in your report, go along, get along.
I believe that's correct.
Correct?
Yes.
And that would be especially the case when Emerson was involved.
Yes.
All right. So for example, if she didn't particularly want to be in the,
Mm. Oh, now she's listening to music. Wait, is that a Swifty? Did she just flip me off? Is that a Swifty bracelet she's got there? I wonder. Hmm. Oh, Maria, welcome. Welcome. Swifty. Yes, Mike would be able to answer that one. Okay, what is this now? What kind of cheese you got here, Griggsy? Carino Romano cheese. That is exciting. You can share it. Yes. What if she's lactose intolerant though, Griggsy? And she doesn't like the cheese? Did you ever think of that? Oh, Maria, just doing a drive, but there is so much to catch you up on. So much. But don't worry, Maria. Grigsy's going to save Ashley Benefield, regardless of the verdict. So we're all pulling for Grigsley. Can lactose intolerant people handle sheep milk? That is a good question. I don't know. Lactose is the milk sugar. I know that, but I don't know if that's specific to cow's milk or if. Oh, Maria, there's too much to go on. Yes, we heard a lot about Grigsy. He's going to save this girl. We also heard about his date with a drug dealer. We had a cameo from Mike Gravlin. We even saw a photo, a shirtless Mike Gravlin photo. There's so much. We learned about people's marriages and all sorts of crazy things, all sorts of crazy gossip. It's just, I don't even know if I can sum it up in in enough time. But I think everyone's going to stay single after watching this. Yes, that's right. A chat member married her stalker. Yes, Griggsy is keeping it lively. Kel Marie, it was a shirtless photo. He did not have a shirt on in that photo. I mean, oh, well, you got to be specific then. She means the case. It's a murder case. Boring. Oh, there you go, Griggsy. Sheep's milk has lactose. Lactose. Oh no, I doubt it. Shirtless shoulders. Okay, Kelmarie, is your glass half full or half empty? Come on. Yeah. There you go. That's yeah, I kept that in a separate folder. Shut up. Yeah. So maybe I don't know. I'll look at her there. She's looking up. And man, this is quite the conference at the bench. Quite the conference at the bench we're going on here. Oh yeah, how was the carbonara, Griggs? It was amazing. Did you make enough for the rest of us? Wait, cheese. Hang on. Here we're looking about. Cheese does have less lactose than regular milk, so maybe there's. Don't even. Don't even. How about that? Where did you find that out, Michelle? I didn't know that cheese has less lactose than regular milk. Is that? Where did you? Is that like science? Yes, Lactose Las Vegas, a new channel. Okay. Oh, gotta get serious again here. You axed
So I
the
think
internet.
You told us, Dr. Broder, that this policy of appeasement was designed by Miss Benefield to basically placate Doug Benefield.
Look at all you
I think I
science
used the
people
word
here.
strategy. That was her idea of trying to.
Yes, to placate him. In other words, to not set him off.
She knew that she wanted to reconcile, so she wanted to kind of, I think, feed into that so he wouldn't, given her belief that he might hurt Emerson.
Okay. And you, did you decide whether or not the signs were there, but that Doug Benefield refused to recognize them? That she wanted no part
Griggsy, you should write a book,
of
bro.
a
telling
marriage
you.
to him?
You should write a book.
Let me make sure I understand the question. Are you saying, did I discuss with him about the signs?
No. Did you acknowledge during the course of these evaluations that the signs were there that Miss Benefield did not want to be in this relationship with Doug Benefield, but he misinterpreted them and insisted on trying to be with her?
Look at you, Maria. Are you like a PhD or
Unlike
something?
therapy and evaluation, you're constantly generating hypotheses, meaning asking other questions to make an assessment of the overall situation, different than a therapeutic relationship where you might be making interpretive statements and recommendations.
I'm not even going to comment. I'm just going to leave that there.
Did you consider that Ashley's position was that Doug was only interested in her and not in the child.
I certainly considered that, yes.
And that was Miss Benefield's position, was it not?
That his sole aim was to win her back, yes.
The abuse complaints, without giving me names,
Mhm.
they were initiated by more than the same person, correct?
Correct.
In fact, there was,
Objection.
Finish your question.
in fact, there was at least 3 different sources.
I'll overrule. Go ahead.
I believe there were 3, correct.
And 2 of those sources were professionals.
Sustained.
She expressed to you, did she not, real frustration with the system and its responsiveness to her situation?
Yes, she did. She was very forthright.
And she told you that with respect to taking matters into her own hands, it was going to be by virtue of her going to Maryland and petitioning the authorities there.
My concern was that she was going to impulsively abscond with the child and go to Maryland and, yes, establish residence separate and apart from Doug.
Okay, that she would have access to the authorities there, that they might be more responsive.
That was her hope, her goal, yes.
All right. Are you familiar in your practice with domestic violence?
Yes,
Have you treated it before?
I've assessed it and treated it on occasion, yes.
Did Douglas Benefield, from what you learned as a result of your involvement in this case, exhibit
Objection.
Go ahead and finish your question.
symptoms consistent with the domestic violence abuser?
Sustained.
Give me a minute, Your Honor.
Well, why can't he run? Why can't he answer that? Let him answer it.
I do have one other area of inquiry, if the court will allow me.
See, look how sad she is.
Did you find
couldn't kill
anything
anybody.
aggressive about Ashley Benefield?
No,
Did you find that Ashley Benefield had any impulse or was prone to angry outbursts?
well, that's 2 different things, impulsivity and angry outbursts. I did not find her to be having angry outbursts, no.
You in fact concluded she was a good mother.
Yes, I observed her many times.
That's all. We'd like to keep Dr. Broder under subpoena.
Redirect.
You're familiar with mandatory reporting laws, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what does that mean, mandatory reporter?
The mere suspicion of any kind of abuse towards a child or an elder, as well as domestic violence, needs to be reported.
So if someone goes to their their child's pediatrician or someone comes to you as a doctor and alleges abuse, what would you have to do?
I would have to report it.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, doctor, at this point, we're done asking questions.
Do you think that would help
However,
her?
As you've heard, you remain under subpoena. The rule of sequestration has been invoked in this case by the parties, so that means you cannot discuss your testimony or the questions asked of you with anyone else,
Right.
including the attorneys.
Okay.
You can't talk with any other witnesses about what their testimony
Not
was
fair.
or the questions asked of them. And to the extent there may be any
Not
online about this
fair.
case, you're not to review it or watch any of it. All right, so
Understood.
remain available in case you need to be recalled.
Just point of clarification, remain here today or be ready for tomorrow
No,
or
sir.
what?
No, sir. You're released for now. Just if one of the parties reaches back out to you during this trial period, you will need to report back.
Understood. Very good. Thank you.
All right, state, call your next witness.
State calls Dr. Jason Quintel.
Okay, there's the door. No, I want like the dramatic entrance like we see on TV. Yeah, there's no good way or right way. You're gonna look some way to someone.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, ma'am.
This is Florida, Maria.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hi there.
My name is Judge White. I'm presiding over this case. As the deputy may have said, just make yourself comfortable in that chair.
Okay.
You'd end up wanting to be about 12 to 15 inches from the microphone. It adjusts up, down, left, right as you need.
Okay.
If you just speak in a loud, clear voice right into that microphone, it'll pick up everything.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Sorry, I spilled water.
Please state your name.
Dr. Jason Quintel.
How do you spell your last name?
It's Quintal.
What is your profession?
I am a mental health counselor
How long have you been a mental health counselor?
since 1998.
And where's your office?
My office is in Lakewood Ranch, off of State Road 70.
And how long have you been there?
That location we moved into in 2018.
So there's hope for
Prior
her.
to that, we were on Lena Road
Right, Maria?
from 2008 on, and then prior to that, 2006.
And at some point, did you become familiar with Doug and Ashley Benefield?
Yes,
And when was this?
that would have been in 2020.
And do you recall about when in 2020 that was?
They came in for their first visit as a couple's visit on 7/15/2020.
Okay. So we heard from Dr. Broder, he was talking about his goal was to do an evaluation. What was your goal with meeting with them? Was it an evaluation or something else?
No, I was referred by another therapist to do trauma resolution treatment for both Doug and Ashley.
Okay. And as part of that, did you meet with them together as well as separate, or how did that work?
I did. I met with them originally as a couple. We ended the treatment as a couple, and then there were individual sessions in between.
Okay. I won't hold you to this, but about how many times did you see them?
So I met with Doug twice individually, Ashley 5 times individually, both of them as a couple twice. There was a total of 4 hours for couples, 10.5 hours for Ashley, and 4.5 hours for Doug.
Okay.
Wow.
And at the first session, did it seem to you as though,
He remembers all that?
let me back up. The first session, was it together?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And during that first session, did it seem as though they wanted to work things out?
During the first session, they talked about, yes, they wanted to work things out.
Okay. When they were together, did they indicate they wanted to get back together, like reunify?
The goal was for them to reunify and moving to Maryland.
Okay.
But
When Ashley met with you by herself, did she still make that representation?
That they were moving to Maryland, yes.
Okay. And was there anything different about her representation?
Ashley was different when she was separate from Doug in terms of more descriptive of things that had happened between the two of them that troubled her. So some stuff that was scary.
And we won't get into
Sure.
specifics, but
Yes, the question, he's entitled to complete his answer.
Overruled.
so did she indicate she still wanted to reconcile with him when she was
Yes.
with you alone?
Overruled.
Did she say she wanted to reconcile with him when she was alone with you?
So I don't recall whether she said she wanted to reconcile with him or not. I think that there were challenges in their marriage and she was questioning whether she wanted to be with him or not.
Okay. Did Ashley tell you that she and Doug were also seeing Dr. Broder?
They both mentioned that Dr. Broder was doing an evaluation, and I didn't know what it was regarding.
Okay. And did Ashley say to you at any time that she was frustrated with the system?
I think Ashley was discouraged. There had been many things brought up, accusations, CPS, judge, that didn't go her way. So I think there was definitely some discouragement with that.
Okay.
She,
And I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, you're fine.
Did she express any frustration at the time it was taking for Dr. Broder's report?
Yeah, she thought that that was taking a very long time.
Okay. And did she express to you that she was worried about what his report would say or worried about when the report was released?
She was worried about what it would say. She said if it were to be disparaging of Doug, she was concerned that he would be upset and take some form of retribution with that.
Okay. Did she, the last time that you saw them was when?
The last visit was on 9/25/20.
Do you remember what day of the week that was? You might not, but
Maybe Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
I can look if you need that.
no, that's okay.
Okay.
And about what time of day was it?
I believe that was a morning session, 10:30-ish.
Okay. Did they say Dr. Broder's report was done?
I don't recall them saying that the report was done. I know that they had been waiting on it and it was supposed to determine specific things for how they move forward.
Okay. And did they indicate when they were going to court next?
I do not know that. I don't recall anything mentioned
Okay.
about when court was.
Did they indicate to you when they expected they were going to have access to that report? Excuse me.
No, I don't. There was not a when the report was going to be released. It was going to happen at some point.
Okay.
My understanding is that they still had plans to move to Maryland.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay.
Cross.
Well, they didn't ask him much.
Afternoon, Dr. Quintel.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. So tell us why, when you met with them, Ashley was different when she was alone and when she was together with Doug in meeting with you.
So Ashley presented that she was concerned about Doug. There was prior acts of violence, shooting a gun, no.
Objection, Judge.
Sustained.
Not gonna get into this.
Okay, without. Yeah, oh, you have no idea. Without,
Why don't you go ahead, excuse me, Deputy, would you please go ahead and take the jury out?
I was gonna say, yeah. You
Remember,
shouldn't have
please don't
said
begin
that.
your deliberations. You can't use your phones, but don't talk with anybody outside of the jury. And don't do any
Ooh.
research on the people, places, things, or
The
legal
judge is
topics you've
gonna-
heard anything about.
Yell at the defense attorney just now for that.
Dr. Quintel, I'm going to excuse you to the hallway.
Okay, take
The-
my stuff with me.
Yes, sir. The rule of sequestration has been invoked.
I don't even know what that means.
That's, I'm going to explain.
Okay, sorry.
What that means, you can all have a seat. What that means, sir, is that you're not to discuss your testimony or the questions that have been asked of you here in the courtroom. It also means that you can't discuss other witnesses' testimony, and that's with anybody or the questions they were asked. That's with the attorneys, other parties, witnesses. It doesn't matter. You can't discuss anything that's gone on inside the courtroom when you've been in here. Also, that I understand this may be online, and you are not to watch anything online until you're released from your subpoena or the jury has been released from its duties.
Okay,
All right, so if you
Sounds
can step
great.
out. Thank you.
thank you.
What? You can watch Viva Las Vegas 2.0 online, though, right, Judge? I think he mentioned that part.
Thank you.
What's about to happen? The jury's
Is there
going to.
anything you'd like to share before I begin speaking?
I think I'm about to catch a whooping. I'm not quite sure why, but go ahead.
Made a
I
comment
believe that you
on
expressed you're a veteran of over 400 jury trials.
Yes, sir.
This is all rhetorical. You can feel free to answer or not answer. My assumption is that you're familiar with trial process and procedure, that you're familiar with, as you had mentioned earlier, the rules of professional conduct and decorum. I'm also sure that you realize that if this court makes rulings that you disagree with, whether it's a passing disagreement or a fundamental disagreement with a ruling, I would imagine you're aware of the fact that if ultimately your client is convicted, either you or another attorney or a public defender, if she's indigent, will have every right to appeal to the Second District Court of Appeal every decision I've made. From the minute I sat down in this division and started making decisions in this case,
Jim
all the way
Gaffigan's
through the
not
end of the
laughing.
case.
Not laughing.
I also would imagine that I'm not the first judge that has made rulings that you disagree with. I would imagine I'm not the first judge that you have looked at up here and said, where in the world did he or she get that from? I would hope that you have not engaged in the conduct like you just did. It was inappropriate. It was unprofessional. We're going to take just a few minutes break.
Wow.
I have this position and I understand criticism. And I expect that. I have often said that I think my job early on as a youth sports referee and umpire prepared me well for the criticism that comes with the job. However, those sorts of side comments are just, they're not appropriate. And I would caution you, sir, not to do that again. That's extrajudicial matters that have nothing to do with the case or the consideration of the jury. All right, so we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll be back.
Carla, what did you miss? Well, the judge sustained an objection, and the attorney's like, oh, you have no idea. Is that what he said? You have no idea when to the witness. And the judge took exception and made that known to the defense attorney. So, I have not really. I did once. It was really unnecessary early in my career, but the guy was a nincompoop. And yeah, it's about, he was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to pay you. So then we had withdrawn and we had filed the motion, whatever. And he's like, don't show up to court. I'm not paying you. Don't blah, blah, blah. And so there was a miscommunication that the court clerk said, yeah, we're going to vacate this hearing date, and your motion withdraw is scheduled for like whatever 2 days later. Anyway, so then I got reamed because I didn't show up for the one hearing because she told me it was vacated and he didn't. Yeah. Anyway, so I did get reamed once. I did wanna trying to think. So I almost did one just back, gosh, where I held my tongue because the judge asked me a question and I was kind of beside myself that the judge would ask me a question about my client and why he did something, and I was just, wait, what is this music from? Is this from this is the court TV feed? Listen to that. Is that where that smooth jazz is coming from? Does everyone else hear it? Yes, it was. Okay, sorry. But anyway, the judge asked me something and I was just like, I can't believe you asked that question. I did not say that because then I probably would have gotten reamed out, but I just, I held my tongue. So yeah, so now we're on a break. Now we need to hear the rest of Griggsy's dating story of the dating the drug dealer. So take it away, Griggsy. Take it away. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's Debbie's vote in November. I don't know. Does anyone know? Yes, go Griggsy. Your public demands to know more. Yeah, we want to know. So like 5 drinks in, she tells you she's a drug dealer. Now, did she go to 10? Like at 10 drinks, did she say, hey, I was the second gunman on the grassy knoll kind of a thing? Like anything like that we should know about? Anything like that? No? All right, this is about Debbie. She has a vote coming up in a couple of weeks. Does anybody know? Oh, here we go. Maria comes here with the information. Primaries are in August. Oops, August 6th. Early voting has already started. All right, well, there you go. So, if you live in Michigan, go vote for Debbie. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It might count as a campaign contribution. You have to declare it. But yeah, now let's get to the real star of the show here today is Ben Griggsy and his dating prowess. Oh no, Maria, we asked for it. We asked for it. We want to know. All I know is he had a date. 5 drinks in, she drops the bomb that she's a drug dealer. And now Griggsy's gone. We don't he leaves us wanting more. Right. Uh-huh. Killing me, dude. All right. Griggsy has performance anxiety. Griggsy, man, they're calling you out, dude. Yes, 5 drinks in. But I mean, come on. What do you call that, Maria? Just 5 drinks in? We just getting warmed up, right? Come on, how long is this short? When is this short break? 5 cocktails dancing on the table. All right. Oh, come on, Golden Girl. You a lightweight? What are you telling me? Oh, are we back? Oh, wait, let's get back. The smooth jazz is gone.
Coming in, I want to remind both sides that the court has made a number of rulings over the last couple of months regarding the admissibility of certain evidence. Until those decisions and orders are revisited and changed, it is the responsibility of both sides not only to operate within those bounds, but also to advise their witnesses of the prior court orders and admonish them to stay within those bounds. All right, go ahead and bring in Dr. Quintel.
All right. So the defense attorney has been chastened, and we'll try this guy again. Someone said, what? Andy
While
Dick?
you were outside, did anybody attempt to discuss the case with you or speak with you? Or did you speak with anyone at all about your testimony or the issues we talked about?
I did not speak with anyone. There was a reporter that came up to me, but I didn't engage with him interact with him.
All right. Did that person ask you questions?
He said that he knew I couldn't talk, but here's a card. I said, I don't want that.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to follow up questions about that? All right. Everybody says no. Let's bring in the jury.
Get out of the way of the shot there, Mr. Bailiff.
All right, you all can have a seat. Welcome back, everybody. Anybody begin deliberations, talk or communicate with anyone outside the jury about anything we've talked about, or do any research? Everybody says no. All right, Mr. Taylor, you may resume your cross-examination.
Thank you. Doctor, did you, as a result of meeting with the two of them together and separately, did you reach any conclusions about the relationship?
Objection, relevance.
All right, you can approach.
Ah, come on, not again. Not again. All right, so it's back to you, Griggsy. Fill up the dead air. Oh, now I'm wondering if she's listening to the smooth jazz we had from the TV feed. You want me to sing, Maria? I don't think anyone wants me to sing. I can't sing. Sing some Elvis, Yacht Rock. I don't know about that. I don't know. See, the problem is I'm too good, right? And I think that the YouTube AI copyright bot would ding me if I sang Elvis or anything really. They're like, man, it just sounds it sounds so much like the real thing that they would, I would get the copyright ding on there. So yes, I think she is. She's watching Viva Las Vegas 2.0. Listening, well, whatever. Listening, watching. She knows that Griggsy's waiting for her. He's gonna save her. Okay, what are we gonna sing in there? Yub nub eat chop yub nub to me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Elvis is gonna happen. Like I say, it's too. I'm too close to the original thing, so it just wouldn't be. What I should sing is, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'll hold that for another episode. My favorite thing to sing lately is La Chona, a nice banda song. And it's my latest karaoke song that I've been working on. Let's see if I can find it here for everybody. No, I can't sing. I can't sing. Sinatra, Wayne Newton, yes, we can sing Dankeschön. Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön. There you go. Thank you for all the joy and pain. I recall Central Park in fall, how you tore your dress. What a mess. I confess, that's not all. Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön. Thank you for all the joy and pain. Trying to think. Picture show, second balcony was the place we'd meet. Second seat, go Dutch treat. You were sweet. Dankeschön, darling, Dankeschön. Let's see. Man, I can't remember the lyrics. So sorry, I gotta stop. Gee, thanks. But this is, this is all about you, Griggsy, not about me. Like Daryl Brooks. I gotta say, between my house, like right where I am right now, and Casa de Shenandoah, let's see what Google Maps says. How far away is that? I live, although, what just happened?
Did you make any inquiry, doctor, about why Doug Benefield would want to stay in this relationship?
Overruled.
You can answer.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was there any observation by you in response to why Doug Benefield would want to remain in this relationship with Ashley Benefield?
I questioned why both would want to stay in the relationship, but specifically to answer the question with Doug, I did bring that up in a session, that it seems like Ashley is saying very disparaging comments, and I'm not sure why and what you see in that ongoingly moving forward. I did bring that up to him.
In fact, you were perplexed by it, were you not?
I was confused. Sure. It did. Yeah.
Would it be a fair conclusion to say that he was hell-bent on staying with her?
Hellbent
I would
is
say
a
that he
medical
really wanted
term
the
there.
relationship to work from everything that he told me.
Okay. We're going to have to recall you, so I'm done.
Redirect? All right, sir. So at this point, you are going to remain under subpoena.
Okay.
You're free to go now, but one or both the parties may actually call you back later. So all those instructions I gave you earlier still apply. Don't discuss.
Maybe he should
testimony with
sing
anyone,
Dankeschön.
even the attorneys, any other witnesses. You can't watch anything that might be online or read any news.
No
Other than that,
interest in any of that anyway.
You're free to go now. Thank you, sir.
Have a good rest of your afternoon.
You too, sir.
Thank you.
Approach about scheduling.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Approach again? These guys are killing me. I don't have enough material to sing here for these breaks. I'm telling you what. Wait, let me see if I can get all the lyrics. I'm embarrassed. I tried to sing Donkey Shane. I don't even know the lyrics. Let's see if I can even find it. Oh, look at that. Donkey Shane is a popular song written by Kurt Schwabach, with music composed by Bert
Next witness
Kaempfert.
may take quite a while, so instead of keeping you so late tonight, the
Are we gonna-
attorneys and I have agreed it's probably better to just come back tomorrow morning and start fresh. So I'm gonna let you go for now. If you would please, say tomorrow time. Are you guys okay with the time? All right. Let's again plan, what would we say today, 8:45? And get you up here and hopefully.
So you can't leave. You have to stay, Michelle.
Please remember, no discussion amongst yourselves. Talk about the weather, nothing else. Don't talk about the case with anyone outside of this jury. And don't do any research on people, places, things, or legal topics that you heard anything about.
Yes, sir.
Okay? We'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right.
You too. Take care. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Before we, sorry.
Let's see what
Can
the
you
judge has to
unseal
say.
the copies of I got the original order that you did, and then the clerk provided me the transcript and the emails. I think you said something, when you said transcript, was that the transcript you referred to? Because the court reporter hasn't transcribed what happened.
Correct. I sealed, if you look at my order, I sealed her raw data, her notes, and any transcripts.
Okay, so I was gonna ask her to do it, but I wanted to clarify before I did something wrong.
I have not requested it. I don't even know if one has been done, but it has been unsealed if there's one.
Thank you, sir.
Does your order, Your Honor, allow the clerk to give them a copy?
Yes. Everything's been unsealed.
She did a hair flip there. What we got going on? All right. Looks like that is it for today. Just in 3 hours there. Man, what an eventful 3 hours, though. A cameo from Mike. Me not remembering all the lyrics to Donkey Shane. And I did find out, I did do Google Maps according to my house and Casa de Shenandoah, from where Wayne Newton, well, he doesn't live there anymore. He tried to turn it into Graceland and do tours, and that never took off. But it's 3 miles from here to there. So a mere 3 miles from where I live to Wayne Newton's Casa de Shenandoah. Anyway, folks, it's been real, and I think it's been fun. Hopefully it's been real fun, and I will see you all later, and we will hopefully catch the Black Swan, future Mrs. Griggsy, tomorrow. So goodbye, everybody. Oh, let's just watch her walk out there. Goodbye. You're right, Griggsy. We'll save her. We will save her. Yes, I will be back tomorrow. I promise. If I look, I do have a hearing at 8:30, so I'm not sure when it starts. It's East Coast time, Pacific time, so we'll hopefully get this figured out. So we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.